Good evening, all, one and all. And we are happy to have all of you at our Sky Symposium and new developments in ESG. So, friends, today we have a very eminent speaker with us who is going to talk about the new developments in the sustainability era. The speaker today is the one who believes in power of sustainability and transparency in creating better companies and a better world. She represents global reporting initiatives, that is GRI, that has stood as a pioneer in sustainability standard setting for over 25 years, in fact 27. She has a master's in environment management and her career spans 17 years in corporate sustainability reporting, carbon accounting, impact assessments, capacity building, consulting, and advocacy. As a senior sustainability expert, she is leading GRI's work on mainstreaming corporate sustainability reporting and SDG aligned business practices in South Asia. In the year 2022, she led GRI standards and SEBI's BRSR linkage project launched by GRI in collaboration with Bombay Stock Exchange. In collaboration with BSE, she has conducted sustainability and reporting workshops for multiple times and for several top 500 listed companies. She has worked closely with BSE staff to reach as many as users possible to make them aware about GRI sustainability reporting. In similar capacity, she has been building workshops and conducted with various regulators and companies across the globe, mainly Malaysia, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Singapore, and more. In her earlier roles, she has managed consulting assignments for a retailer in Pacific region to launch its first sustainability report, helped IT services company in achieving key carbon goals in Asia Pacific region. She is also co-innovator of initiative on employee sustainability engagement through mobile application, prior to which she was responsible for execution on consulting projects and statutory impacts assessment, environmental statements, and carbon credits. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about none other than Miss Pallavi Atre. Please join your hands together and welcome Miss Pallavi Atre on board for explaining the today's webinar. Miss Pallavi.
Thank you, Mr. Mehta. I hope I'm clearly audible to you.
Yeah.
All right, great. And thank you, everyone. Thank you, ICAI, for having me here, representing Global Reporting Initiative, GRI, which I'll let you know about in shortly. Like, we are a non-profit organization in this space for 27 years now, in the reporting space, in the sustainability ESG reporting space. I'll be explaining about it in short while. I'm joining all of you today from Mumbai. And I'm happy to be here talking to all the current accountants and prospective accountants who are backbone of our, of our economy. And I think now the ESG that is moving and becoming very close to the accountant fraternity is a great moment. And it's actually something that GRI dreamt about, that we will see a day where we will have these mainstream, which is the accountant fraternity, who is talking about ESG and talking about sustainability and imbibing in their day-to-day life. So I'm extremely happy to be here. We dreamt about it, that we will be here someday. Yeah, so I'll just now, start a PowerPoint presentation. I would have loved that if this session would have been interactive. I could have seen, all of you who have joined, all the CAs here, but it's not what it is. So I'm just assuming that, you are able to hear me, see me and see my presentation, and also able to understand. At the end of the session, I'll definitely share my coordinates. So in case you want to reach out to us, you definitely do that, and we can always schedule a call or a face-to-face meeting. If we are around in Mumbai or my colleagues are in Delhi, if we are around, we can definitely have a chat. Yeah. So with that, Mr. Puneet, I'll just start the presentation.
Yes, please do that.
I'll share my screen. Team, just let me know if it's coming out well. Yeah. So I understand that many of you are actually new to this entire, ESG sustainability jargons, and there will be many, many more jargons which you might come across as you deep dive more into, in this whole space. And these jargons might come across heavy initially. So wherever I might be using jargons, excuse me for that. I'll try to be as simple as possible, given that, many of us are new to this topic. So I'll be now, starting the session. And with that, I would just want to go a bit about, you know, start with the basic, and I'm just telling you, like, how the flow is going to be. I'll be simple. What is sustainability and sustainability reporting that we are talking about? Sometimes ESG and sustainability is used interchangeably. I will also talk about my organization, where we come from, how we relate to BRSR, which some of you might be familiar about, which is SEBI's new format, which is mandated for top 1,000 listed companies to disclose on ESG. So how do we relate to it? I'll talk about some key concepts, which is called as materiality, double materiality. I'll talk about globally how sustainability reporting landscape is shaping. And I'll also talk about the GRI standards, which all of us at GRI, and there are many more supporters and many more companies and organizations who are believing in GRI standards and who have become like basis of most of the framework that we have been using. Yeah. So I will be now starting about, yeah. So I'm trying to move my slide. Pressing a glitch. Yeah. So I'll start basics about, what is ESG. We all know, like, environment, social governance. That's something which is quite logical that all of you know about. But then getting into a little deeper. So all of us know the relationship between business, society, and environment is growing. We see that, it is spoken about, much understood, a lot more than it used to be than earlier. It has never been more complex. And ESG was first termed and coined somewhere by UN in 2005 through their latest report, which recommended actually the financial industry to better integrate environment, social, and governance, to into their work. And when we say that it was expected that financial industry examines risks such as rising temperatures, labor disputes, corporate malpractices, then potential, which are actually going to weigh their potential impact on profits, right? So the language profits, risk, opportunities were deliberately designed to appeal to financial professionals, and moving away from less strategic term, which is something called as corporate social responsibility or sustainability. Yeah, and this was something that was, actually coined during that time in 2005. And what it was great that it worked actually, that, the world moved from corporate social responsibility and sustainability terminologies to ESG. And the result shows in McKinsey's report, which showed that there was a five-fold increase in search of the term ESG between 2019 to 2022. Yeah, while more than 90% of S&P 500 companies now today publicly disclose some of their ESG performance to the world. And this is something that is, this new term ESG has resulted into. However, to the world, the sustainability challenge is not something new. So world knows about it, and my slide bit talks about it, that how is world familiar to this. So these are some of the mega trends which might be appearing on your screen.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah. Am I audible? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
ma'am.
some
You're
glitch.
audible.
Some glitch at my end. Okay. So these are some of the mega trends that are affecting how we live and do business, right? And the urgency to address these sustainability challenges is very, very clear. Now, climate change has become most popular among everybody and across the constituencies. And however, now the latest updates shows that climate change is not the only crisis that we are facing. So there is this study which is done every year, which where it is tested that 9 planetary boundaries are tested by eminent scientists. That concludes that 6 of the 9 boundaries, which are planetary boundaries, have transgressed, which means that crossing these boundaries increases the risk of generating large scale, abrupt, or irreversible environmental damage. Okay, and these drastic changes will not necessarily happen overnight. Perhaps we don't wake up tomorrow to a big crisis, but together the boundaries mark a very critical threshold for increasing the risk to people and the ecosystems we are a part of. Okay, so some way or the other, they are going to affect us. Very simple examples, which many of you might have not seen a decade back. Okay, so most of us are joining from India, I'm expecting. So familiar with the Indian weather pattern, we see that we never saw rains on Dashera day, right? And but this has become frequent for past 5 years. So we all are experiencing this, but the change has occurred quite some years back. Okay, that was a very small change that was happening, and today we see that as an implication on us in our day to day life. But when we say climate change, it is on the global agenda. The ministers are meeting, the corporates are meeting, the pledges are being taken because it means something to the business, which means that the business is going to change. The renewable energy efficiency, cleaner technology is going to gain more importance, which also means that investments in low carbon growth looks like inevitable. And as opportunities open up for business face more competition. So that is one of the thing that we see. Now, this extreme climate event is going to be new normal for all of us. We have to be all prepared for what extreme weather patterns look like. It very first thing is it threatens the staff and business operation. The BCP has to be evoked. I remember some years back, the Chennai flood had actually evoked BCP at some of my colleagues in Tata Consultancy Services were like IT companies were talking about it. So processed water shortages, raw material shortages during the drought, that is also becoming a part. So everywhere where water, air, resources are going to be important for the businesses, every place there is going to be sustainability challenge which is going to be relevant to the business. So the competition is increasing. What does this mean to business? Which means that water intensive processes will be under threat. Businesses will have to demonstrate that they are not contributing to this problem. So expectation from business is going beyond providing goods and services to solving bigger societal challenges. So that's where businesses come into picture, and that's where they need to get into working. The regulations are changing. We saw the biggest example, which all of you might be experiencing in your everyday work, is the SEBI's regulation to mandate to report on ESG for top 1,000. It was earlier a decade back. It was for top 100 companies. It gradually moved to 500 and now top 1,000 companies. There were amendments made to Companies Act, and there were emission regulations which are globally getting very stricter and mandatory on every year reporting. These are some of the changes that we are seeing. So it definitely has implications on businesses. So it's no more good to have but must have. And we also see that number of signatories to principle of responsible investments and assets under management are increasing. The stock exchanges are adopting to sustainability reporting list as a listing requirement. Recently, I saw that Australian Competition and Consumer Commission released its anti-greenwashing guidance for companies. So it's not only, report on ESG, but now it has advanced to a stage where it is being asked that, just also prove that, you are not greenwashing. So this is also something where the world is going, and that's where we know that this is something that is quite relevant and something that needs to be taken care of in everyday life by the audience here. If I want to define sustainability reporting, I would say sustainability reporting is about disclosing openly on economic, environmental, and social impacts, and its positive and negative contribution towards sustainable development. And it also includes human rights. Okay, so this is a revised definition by GRI, and as such, reporting plays a key role in driving towards achieving sustainability related goals. But it also helps you to be transparent. The organization, the corporate company to be transparent, enabling dialogue, and also setting goals for themselves. It also helps a company to identify what is its most significant impact. So there might be a company who is in the water intensive sector, which is into, say, beverage sector. For them, the most significant impact is on the water stress, right? So how is it affecting the water table of a particular region that they are operating in? But for that, if I talk about the IT sector, the most significant impact would not necessarily be water. Of course, it will impact water, but the top priority would be perhaps the emissions, because it uses a lot of energy for its operations. It employs a lot of people strength. Then that becomes the most significant impact. So the reporting actually helps you to identify these significant impacts where you have the organizations have, and then plan a roadmap towards setting the goal. How do you measure the performance and manage that entire performance across improving gradually year after year? Some of these might sound quite, abstract to many of us, and they were actually. And that is why there is a progress that is being made globally, that how these issues are actually quantified, how I can attach a dollar value to these issues. So climate change is one of the topic which, is closer to this entire exercise. And now, but the other nature related issues may not be yet there, but that was also one of the issues. But then reporting makes it little closer to make the your impact or the organization's impact to be concrete. It helps to build a strategy for a company, a roadmap to a company, that how it can be continuously improved their activities, so that there is a tangible benefit to it. And it is, the reporting should be stakeholder focused. So there are multiple reporting instruments. We will cover that in, few minutes. However, this definition that I'm talking about is coined by GRI, which is stakeholder focused. When I say stakeholder focused, investor is one of the stakeholder in this kind of a reporting, which talks about impacts. What impact an organization's operation has on sustainability issues, outer world, on its people. That is what stakeholder focused approach is, and that is what GRI promotes. And it's a journey. Nobody makes it, correct in the first go. That's what we have been seeing. Now, while I'm talking to the accountants here, I'm very mindful of that reporting is not novel practice among the corporates, right? So the disclosure of financial statement is a long established process with specific methodologies and controls and agreed upon accounting standards, right? The primary objective there is to provide relevant and reliable information to shareholders, right? The main audience is a shareholder about its ability to meet obligation that companies, yes, my company is meeting the obligation and thereby enhance the trust. Trust is I want to emphasize here on the trust. So the whole idea of financial reporting is enhancing trust in the market. Now, having this information handy, shareholders can make a decision by getting a full view of company's financial health. Then why are these organizations globally increasingly choosing to disclose information beyond financial numbers? That's because we just saw that there are unprecedented challenges that the world is facing, and we as a society is asking for more transparency and accountability from organization about their impacts on ESG and related challenge. And that is why we see that, even if we are trying to build something which is standard way of communicating, trying to be more closer to financial reporting. uh, but then some of you might ask, what is the value that you get? Okay, so I'm coming from the organization which is GRI, where it's voluntary reporting. It's not mandated by the regulation. However, it brings the entire process of reporting brings a lot of value to any organization because it starts with something called as materiality, which I'll talk about shortly. But there are some of these internal and external benefits, which is if you undergo a proper reporting process, starting from materiality, which is driven by your stakeholders. You don't come up with with the topics on your own, or they are not mandated by you, but your stakeholders drive you on those topics, and that's when you get internal and external benefits that you're seeing on the screen at this point of time. However, I want to again emphasize because now at the Davos, the World Economic Forum annual event is going on, right? And interestingly, the topic of the discussion where all the global leaders are going to discuss about is the rebuilding trust. Okay, so this builds from the this rebuilding trust came from last year's buzzword at the World Economic Forum, which was called as polycrisis. So polycrisis means cluster of related risk with compounding impacts and unpredictable consequences. Okay, and sustainability risks are right at the center because it is no more just an externality that are not material anymore. They have consequences that can trigger and accelerate other risk. So it has a cluster effect. And that is why this polycrisis needs to be tackled. And if I want to give you an example, there is an interconnectedness between impacts due to climate change, water stress, natural resource deficit, food security, and it can have compounding outcome which can make it super critical, right? So that is why this poly crisis is something that needs to be dealt with, and that is why the reporting plays a very very important role, internal reporting to its own stakeholders and external reporting to the world, because that builds accountability and that helps, if there is a credible data out on your ESG performance, it helps you build any organization build trust. Okay, so that is why I'm giving you the reference of trust over here, which is an important outcome of the entire reporting process. I would now like to tell you a bit about my organization, which I represent, which is GRI, and it is an independent international standard setter. And its main aim is to provide global common language for transparency and sustainability impacts. So, way before way before the SEBI's BRSR was launched, way before that, GRS standards were in place 27 years back, and they were not right at, they were not all correct at right at the first go. They kept on developing over the period based on the scientific developments that were happening globally. The main aim was, to provide a common global language. So, a manufacturing goods company in India and a manufacturing goods company in, say, Latin America should disclose on the same aspects. That was the entire idea of having GRI standards, a common language. We as an organization help other companies through our sustainability reporting standards, GRI standards, on the sustainability impact. So we say that we are an organization which provide impact reporting standards. Yeah, and that is being done through the stakeholder engagements, and that helps in the strategic decision making of an organization rather than being a tick box exercise, which most of the mandatory reporting frameworks are out doing. And these standards are freely available on the website. You can go and check on the globalreporting.org, our website, and they are available in many languages, but for us it's in English, and it's a public good. As mentioned, we are a non-profit, and most of our funding comes through the services that we deliver, and some of the governments in Europe and Australia support us. As I mentioned, 27 years of footprint now here, and that's how we developed from guidelines to actually incorporating United Nations SDG, the Sustainable Development Goals, which are 17 in numbers, which came in 2015. And across, we got developed. We have sector-specific, standards that we launch gradually. We keep on improving our existing standards, so which means that they are up to date based on global developments, scientific developments that are happening across. And in 2022, we celebrated our 25th anniversary, and you can take a look at our website. It's quite informative and it can certainly help you in your ESG journey. In terms of our reach, today 78% of the largest 250 companies in the world are reporting on sustainability, and they use GRI. And 248 policies across 85 countries and regions either refer or require GRI standards, and SEBI BRSR regulation is one of them. We have, 900,000 plus downloads of GRI standards in last year, perhaps the most the largest footprint that we have ever seen. Today, 11,000 plus companies publish report based on GRI standards. We have something called a GRI community, where the corporates and consulting bodies are becoming a part of our community, and they help us and become a part of GRI, and they span across 68 countries, and among 21 are in India itself, all the large corporates that are in India. And we do have training partners in this part of the world and across who give you very detailed training on how to use GRI standards and make a best use of GRI's standards capability. Although it is headquartered in Amsterdam and Brussels, a lot of work happens here in the regional networks, and that includes our 6 regional networks. I am a part of GRI South Asia. As I mentioned, it's in New Delhi. We are a small team of 5, and we take care of India, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, a little bit of Pakistan, Bhutan, and Nepal. That's where our reach is. So our major work here is, becoming eyes and ears of the headquarters. So we transfer information from this region to the headquarters also support the standard setting exercise, which is a long due process exercise, and also the information that is happening globally. We pass it on to our regional counterparts, the companies here, the stock exchanges. We are closely working with the securities exchange commissions, the rating agencies, the investors, is what we do engage with. In terms of little bit of statistics, in Asia Pacific, we have 68% of the top 100 companies who do use GRI standards. After Singapore, it is Taiwan and Chile who are top countries who are report against GRI in if I talk about Asia. And if you see that, some of the low reporting rates on GRI are in countries like Pakistan and Vietnam. Rest of them, the companies are reporting on GRI standards, and it's one of the most popular reporting standards. Our key focus areas in GRI is to create and maintain world-class sustainability disclosure standards. We take a lot of pride in our standards because it's a huge work which is done by a multi-stakeholder process, which means different constituencies representatives form a working group, and this working group actually develops the sustainability report, and different parts of the world are represented. So we ensure that GRS South Asia and the South Asian region is also, the experts are contributing. So for example, if there is a mining sector related standard that is coming up, then all parts of the world will contribute. The experts from the different parts of the world will be a part of this particular process. And then it is put across on the website for the public consultation. So anybody can go and review the document, the draft, and it can be then published, and then note their feedback on the draft. So that's the process being followed, and these standards are being used by other governments and other constituency policymakers who want to have reporting disclosure related guidance standards within their constituency. And we then also engage, like I'm engaging with you all, to drive the adoption of the GRS standards. And then also our aim is to improve quality of reporting. As I mentioned, most of these policy driven mandatory reporting framework instruments are more like a tick box exercise. So we are actually helping improve the quality of reporting, because that's what the GRI standards strength is, that the whole process is actually going to have a quality reporting with credible outcomes. And then a support full public access to sustainability disclosure is what our aim is, how to bring more and more transparency among the other players in the whole ecosystem of sustainability reporting and taking. So there are GRI standards are being referred, and we have seen investor taking interest in the reports which are based on GRI standards. And some of the reasons are that investors do want to make their own assessment of related risk and opportunities. We see they are long-term investors and recognize that over time impacts will have financial implications for organizations. So reporting only on financial, sustainability related impacts on the financials is not something, is a short term view, but rather if you need to take a long term view, that in future what is going to have financial implication for my organization, today you need to have a view of your impacts. Yeah. So that is what some of the investors have recognized, and they do incorporate GRS standards in their methodologies while they are assessing the companies. And that is why it is being used by the fraternity across, is what we understand. There are multiple stock exchanges and regulators who refer or mandate GRI standards. And with that, this was a bit about GRI, bit about us. I'll just take a pause and check with organizers if there is any concern at this point of time.
No, ma'am, it's running absolutely fine.
Thank you so much for that assurance. I'll just quickly touch upon key concepts, which are very, very critical as we move ahead in understanding, where the world is going. Something called as material topics. So you will hear a lot of, lot many times something called as materiality, material topics when anybody is talking about sustainability reporting. In short, it means that any organization report or publicly disclose on relevant topics which are which are sufficiently important for reporting on them. You don't have to report on all the topics, but which needs importance to be reported on. Right. For example, oil and gas company cannot say that emissions are not important for us. Okay, so we are not going to disclose on it. Okay, it's a very it's a very rough example that I'm giving, but just to for you to understand that this is what material topics means, and materiality assessment process is what is the backbone of GRI sustainability reporting standards, because it is two dimensions. It talks about significance of an organization's economic, environment, and social impact, and which will substantially influence the assessment and decision of your stakeholders. Okay, what are those topics which are going to significantly impact the decisions of your stakeholders? And this is something that is a pictorial representation, which is unless otherwise stated, impact refers to the effect on organization has on the economy, environment, and the society. Okay, and when we talk about impact, it talks about not just positive, but also negative. So having that courage, the leadership courage to not only talk about your contribution, which is positive, but negative as well, is what the standards principles talk about. But there is this emerging concept which is coming out, which is called as double materiality. Okay, so when we talk about double materiality, it consists of impact materiality, the materiality that I just explained you about, and then it also talks about sustainability related financial reporting. Yeah, so the double materiality consists of impact reporting and sustainability related financial reporting. And to do this reporting, there are these instruments currently which are either categorized as frameworks or standards. There are indices, rankers, and raters, and there are certifications. So all these jargons and complications have been developed by all these multiple instruments which are currently in there in the ESG space. When I want to explain you about double materiality, yeah, when you are talking about double materiality, it says that impact reporting talks about impact of entity, of the organization, of the business's activity on the world, how organization existence is contributing to sustainable development. And when we are talking about impacts of sustainability topics on the entity, which is more of the sustainability related financial reporting we are talking about, it is more inward as to how these sustainable development challenges are impacting the organizations financially. And if I want to give you a simple example, I take a topic of climate change. Impact reporting talks about how my energy consumption or my organization's emissions, GHG, scope 1, 2, 3 emissions, are impacting the world and its people. Is it increasing the temperature, which might threaten or which might create other polycrisis, which is, water stress, food related issues. And this is something which is referring to impact reporting. And when we are talking about sustainability related financial reporting, it is more about how climate change and the regulations are actually impacting me internally, like what are some of the physical risk, what are some of the asset risk to my assets, due to the climate change related issues. So this is basically the difference. The world is going towards the agreement, which is evident from the European regulations which are focusing on sustainability reporting, that it has to be both. The disclosure has to be on both impact and sustainability related financial reporting. Even the one which is coming up in US from the IFRS standards, they're also saying that these are not complementary type of view, but it goes hand in hand. So it's not the whole picture of the company's ESG performance if company chooses only to report on sustainability related financial reporting, but they also need to talk about impact reporting. These are some of the examples. If I just talk about the first one, emissions. Okay, so in impact reporting, effects of organizations' emissions on climate change, air quality, or public health. Okay, wherein the financial reporting focuses on financial risk of emission through the regulatory changing or carbon pricing. Yeah. Similarly, all other topics will also have the implications, and will have two views of impact reporting and the financial reporting. Now we'll go a bit in the sustainability reporting landscape.
Checking with her.
I think she's lost the connect.
She is saying technical glitch something.
Okay.
Tech team, please check.
Friends, we've covered quite a few bit of presentation right now. So those of you who might have questions, kindly put it in the question box. That would be really nice.
बोल रहे क्या मूवी
Please bear with us for next 2 minutes. There is some technical glitch at the speaker's side, and we should get it resolved in next 2 minutes. By the time ma'am joins, let me note down a few of the questions that has been asked and that we will be asking the speaker at the end, of course. But just for the sake of communication, let me just take up or rather just note down few of the questions that has been taken up. So there is one question: what is the difference between GRI and ISSP standards? How should we understand the difference between the two? Then there is another question: what ways sustainability reporting influences corporate behavior and decision making? Very important question. Could you please go over the slide of double materiality once more? We would request, ma'am. And what is the reporting requirements of future of an organization? Right, the current reporting requirement for all the organization. That is one more question that has been asked. So these are few of the questions that has come to us. If you have few more questions, please drop in. By the time Ms. Pallavi joins, we should be able to take up the session once more. There is one more which has been added. How can we get the comprehensive training of GRI standards reporting? Where could we get that in India? So yes, this is something that Ms. Pallavi is going to share more about GRI standards. By the time Pallavi ji is joining, let's have some fun facts movement in case because it is important for all the audience to be engaged by the time our technical glitch get completed. So let me ask one simple question. What does it take more energy of? Whether to make 1 kg of paper or to make 1 kg of steel? Where does the more energy is spent? Could you please just put it in the question answer box that you have been given? Friends, it takes more energy to make 1 kg of paper than to make 1 kg of steel. Uh, we've been given to understand there is some we've been given to understand there is small technical glitch still with the laptop of Miss Pallavi. I think we should get it sorted in next 2 minutes, 2 to 5 more minutes. Oh wow, I got some response. Soniji said both same no. It is 1 kg of paper which says more. I have already answered. So few more questions. How much liters of water would be used to extract 1 kg of gold? 1 lakh, 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs. How much kg of water would be used to extract 1 kg of gold? We are playing some fun facts till the time Miss Pallavi is joining. If you can respond it again in your question answers, I see few of the responses of the earlier question. So now I'm encouraging more. Somebody wants us me to discuss about the insight of MSME Act. Right now, this is not the forum for it. So can we please restrict ourselves for sustainability? In my earlier question, I have asked how much water does it take to extract 1 kg of gold? 1 lakh liters, 5 lakhs liters, or 10 lakhs liters? Any guesses? Yes, Mr. Murli, you're correct. Thank you. Let me check. So there's one more coming up. We all were Friends, Miss Pallavi is trying for an alternate laptop. She's got some serious problem with her laptop, and I just got a message that she's trying for an alternate laptop to be connected on this particular ICAI webinar link. It might take a few more minutes before we could join. So let me take one more questions. We all wear T-shirts, and what is the amount of liters that goes into making one T-shirt? 100, 5,000, or 2,700? In making one T-shirt, what is the amount of water that goes into it? 100 liters, 5,000 liters, or 2,700 liters? To make one T-shirt, what is the amount of liters that gets used up? Oh wow, I get some of the answers. Right. Bank on target, Miss Preeti Sabharwal, 2,700 for one T-shirt. Now that's the amount of liters that we used when we are using that one T-shirt. So we have to be actually very cautious in changing our dresses quite often, because that's the environmental impact that all of us are making when we keep buying new things and not using our earlier things in the most efficient manner. That's the real reason for taking up that particular question. So we all should try and use our resources, whether it is as good as wearing our clothes or what, in a most efficient manner. Let me check with the technical team once here whether Ms. Pallavi can join right now or not. Friends, there's good news. Ms. Pallavi is able to join. We should be starting with our webinar once again. And thank you all for those who have participated in the some small fun quiz that I had attempted. So in next 1 minute, we should be able to join. Yeah, Ms. Pallavi is now able to share her screen.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, ma'am. Hello. Ma'am, are you able to listen to us? Friends, the technical glitch is over. I think within next 1 minute, Ms. Pallavi should be able to join.
Hello, am I audible now?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Today, it's some odd day. It seems I'm facing too many glitches. Extremely sorry for that. And let me, start without, further delay. Please, team, confirm once my screen is visible.
Yeah, ma'am. Your screen is visible.
Thank you so much. Okay. So we stopped at looking at some of the key concept, and I'm sure Mr. Mehta has given you some good insights and played some quiz with you. And we are now going to look at reporting landscape, how it is developing in India and globally. Some of you might be still familiar with how the reporting space in India got evolved over the period, especially in the last decade, where the actual timeline that you see. How it happened in India was, with the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, they came with the national voluntary guidelines. So earlier those were guidelines on social, environmental, and economic responsibilities of business, and then SEBI adopted, and SEBI took the NVG guideline, and they came up with disclosure requirement of 100 listed companies, which was through a format called as BRR, right? And then it extended the BRR to 500 companies, listed companies. And then the national voluntary guidelines also got revised by the ministry in 2019. And it became slightly different, having 9 principles as a the backbone, which based on which the SEBI again revised its BRR format, which is now called as BRSR, and is mandated to top 1,000 listed companies. So it's a bit of a revision for those who you know, and it's a bit of a introduction for those of you who don't know how the SEBI and MCA played hand in hand, and MCA had this guidelines wherein SEBI had this format which came as a mandate to top 1,000 listed company. And last year onwards, it's becoming even more stringent, where we saw a roadmap for companies to adhere to BRSR. Then they came up with something called as BRSR Core, which was more like adhering to 9 top disclosures. And then they have also made it more stringent by including having assurance, as in the roadmap for this company stage wise. But yes, that is coming our way. SEBI has already told that. And then also they added one more layer of complexity by saying that, value chain reporting also needs to be done for companies. And that has to be like, again, it's staged wise manner, but that's something that came back to us. Just a glimpse of how the BRSR is structured, wherein Section A is all about general disclosure, which is more of information of the company. Section B is about the leadership, of how the governance structure is, and how the stakeholder consultation is being made across the 9 NGBRC principles. And again, the Section C is more on the performance, more on the matrices that we see, in the NGBRC. That's what how it is structured. It's an overview. Now there is a linkage between BRSR and GRI standards. So as I mentioned initially, that BRSR is very, very closely linked to GRI standards. So GRI standards being global standard, it has been over the 27 years, it got evolved, and so many companies across the world are using GRI standards. That becomes a global language, common language, right? So BRSR linked to GRI standards, that linkage is to provide that common areas where the data provided by a company to disclose would be same. So I encourage all of you to go and have a look at this mapping document, which is freely available on the website, as to how these linkages have come up and how it is closely related to the standards, which are global common language. But as I mentioned, there is slight difference in how the process of reporting is being encouraged in the GRI standards versus the BRSR. So what's new in the world of sustainability reporting that is happening from the reporting perspective? We see that the interest in reporting is at all-time high, which was never before. Okay, so post-COVID, it has increased, and it is increasing day by year after year. And we see that there are a number of other bodies who are introducing new rules and disclosure standards, which could be at the national level, which could be at the international level, and which could be general disclosure on ESG across all the factors, or it could be very specific to sectors. So we see that the cement manufacturing company has their own set of standards which needs to be adhered to. There is textile and apparel who has their own set of standards which the companies associated with that particular association has to adhere to. So there are these all of them cropping up across the world. That's what the KPMG survey says. And we see that the top G250 companies have disclosed sustainability data in some form or the other, out of 96% of G2050 companies. And similar study was done by International Federation of Accountants benchmarking study, and they got similar result, when they reviewed 1,400 companies' report, they found that the sustainability information of some level has been disclosed by 91% of the companies. Well, but then who are the main players? Because there is a plethora of disclosure instruments currently in the world. Okay, in one of the slides I showed you that there are 250 plus instruments in the world which are referencing GRI. So you can imagine there are so many of them. But then who are these key players? We have filtered it out for you, which you need to focus on. One is of definitely GRI standards. Then there is this European Sustainability Reporting Standards, which the short form is EFRAG, is what we all call it as, and they have a directive under their European Green Deal. They have the directive which focuses on the reporting, which sets out a requirement for reporting. So there was already requirement of ESG reporting in some form earlier. Now they have made it more formal. They have widened the scope, and we see that some of the companies who have ties with European trade ties, they should definitely, it's going to percolate to Indian companies who have European trade ties, because that's the reach of the directive. They are quite elaborate, and we'll take a little more deeper view. Next slide. Then there is IFRS sustainability disclosure standards, which are becoming S1 is S2 is what they call it as. There is US SCC climate disclosure rule, and then there is climate task force for climate related financial disclosure, and task force on nature related financial disclosure is quite new. I think it was launched just 2 months back, and it's there now in the market out for the use. But the most popular one, as per the last survey, is the GRS standards and the task force on climate related financial disclosures. Is what we see, and I'm trying to remind you about the double materiality. So the GRS standards talk about impact reporting on economy, environment, and governance, and whereas TCFD takes the route of sustainability related financial disclosures, and it's climate focused, so it's climate related financial disclosures. It doesn't yet, they have not touched upon the other parts. The TNFD will broaden scope to nature related financial disclosures. GRS standards, we are going to take a look at it a bit later, but because it's listed in there, I've just included it here. ESRS, which is European Sustainability Reporting Standards, are, as I mentioned, it's mandated by EU through CSRD, and it has come out already. It's available since 2023, and the applicability is also starting from 2024. The purpose of this standard was ensuring corporate sustainability disclosures that are relevant and comparable across companies, and create a mechanism for enforcing and assuring sustainability related reporting. Again, it was by the European Financial Reporting Advisory Group. They have come up also, GRI and ESRS have come up with the interoperability index, which shows that there are overlaps and they are closely linked to each other. This is already out there in the draft phase, and they are firming up forward. So, which also means that those companies who are already on the GRI reporting framework, they will be able to adopt ESRS, quickly, and quickly as in, it will be easier for them compared to other companies who are just starting with ESRS. Then there is IFRS Sustainability Reporting Standards, which is by International Sustainability Standards Board. They have IFRS has formed that board. Here it creates, the purpose they state it as, create a high quality, comprehensive global baseline on sustainability disclosure focused on needs of the investors and financial markets. Again, I would like to remind you, we are talking about double materiality, and in EU, or the earlier slide, the standard itself promotes double materiality. In IFRS and GRI have come to the conclusion that they are not complementary to each other, these standards, but actually two sides of the same coin. And while this standard focuses on investor and financial market needs, the impact reporting GRI standards focuses on these broader stakeholder needs. That's what consensus is all about. And they are also being issued, and S1, S2 is being issued too, and they probably are going to come for more standards which are planned for future. The other one, as I mentioned, the popular, which is already being reported on, it is TCFD, which is Task Force for Climate-Related Disclosure, and its purpose has been improving and increasing reporting of climate-related financial information again. And this is actually available for immediate use, but being IFRS launched last year, now TCFD is now merged into IFRS. So there is no separate TCFD disclosure to be made, but then it's being taken care of in the IFRS officially. Then the new one that is coming, which is going to be focusing on, like it was TCFD was on climate related disclosure, this is going to be on the nature related risk and opportunities. And a host of financial institution, corporates, and market services providers were like supporting this entire initiative. This is also being said that it is around September 2023, it is being launched. In the last quarter, it is launched. So this is also out there for the view. So these are some of the, the developments that are happening, and they definitely have their own, space and their own purpose. That is why we have stated the purpose of each of these standard, which is different, which is being, that is why they are existing. A bit about GRI standards, as I mentioned, that the standard itself is something that we take pride on. That is because it's a global best practice, and it is being developed by different representatives of different constituencies, right? From civil societies, business enterprises, investment institution, labor organization, and the mediating organizations. So this multi-stakeholder approach, we ensure that the participation is from the diverse stakeholder expertise, constituencies, and also the regions is what these standards are made up of. This is how overall the structure of the standard looks like. So it's modular in structure, so that if there is any global development that is happening, this will not disrupt the entire standard, but only that particular module can be revised. And there are 32 topic standards. So when I talk about that, that there are materiality process. Through materiality process, you might just come up with 10 top material topics for you out of 32 topic standards. But there is a bouquet of 32 topic standards, which becomes for many organizations who are into goal setting, into strategic approach towards ESG. For them, GRI standards is like a go-to kind of a document where they get a very detailed guidance on how they should approach, so that they can also move towards more impactful impact reporting in the public domain. At the same time, can have a strategic approach towards managing their ESG. The sector standards are also in place. We currently have 3 sector standards, which is the agriculture, coal and the mining sector. These are the 3 sector standards which are out there. Since it takes a long due process to actually come with a robust reporting standard, we do take a time, and we do have a timetable to come up with these standards, and it's not a quick thing that we come up with. And as I mentioned, it's freely available. Everything, all the sector standards are also available. This is how it is structured. It consists of GRI 1 Foundation 2021, GRI 2 General Disclosures, and GRI 3 all the material topics 32. And this is something that is foundation is going to help you with the basic information right from the principles on which the GRI standards are based on. To say that your report is in accordance with GRI, you're supposed to meet, these 9 principles. And if these 9 principles are met, you can say that, your GRI report is in accordance. You're supposed to notify GRI. This is one of the requirement. And this notification is also free of charge. There is no cost associated with it. But however, we do help organization if they need some review on their sustainability reporting. Then we have range of services that are provided from the headquarters, and some of them are also provided in the region, on also on BRSR GRI linkage. There are certain services that are being provided. And if you cannot meet these 9 principles, you can still use GRI, but you have to then say that your report is in reference with GRI and not in accordance. Key concepts, as I mentioned, I also already spoke about impact material topics. So due diligence is the process, disclosure on the process that you have used the materiality and used the stakeholder engagement and have done the reporting process, that also needs to be reported on. And then there are these principles which the reporting has to be based on. So every reporting, if you apply these principles, hopefully the report is going to be more robust, because these are very, very relevant principle for any reporting, for that matter, that your whatever you report has to be accurate. It has to be balanced, as I mentioned, positive, negative, both. It should be clear enough for all the stakeholders to understand. So it should be, use of less jargons and less flowery statements, and it should be very, very clear. It should be comparable to your own peer, and it should be comparable to your last year's information disclosure. Completeness is also something that is expected. So for example, you're conveniently missing out on one of your business units. So out of 10 business units, you are reporting only on 9 business units because the 10th business unit has, say, incomplete data. So that is something that you have to avoid. Of course, as I mentioned, it's something that you can improve on over the period. So with correct disclosure, you can do the reporting, but then you have to strive towards completeness. The disclosure has to be more on the sustainability context, and not just your accolades and awards and all the applause that you have got for your organization has got. But it has to be sustainability context, timeliness. So few years back, we have seen that all the reports used to come somewhere in the December, while the annual report used to be in the first quarter after the end of the financial year, while this used to be in the second quarter or third quarter, the sustainability reporting. But over the period, we saw that the timeliness has improved, and now since SEBI has mandated the reporting in the annual report, which is the BRSR report, we also see that sustainability reports are also coming out earlier than before. And this data information should be verifiable by third party or through internal audit, or by your stakeholders, or by the external auditors. GRI standards has very clear-cut benefits, as it is evident. It's very easily integrated and referenced by the policymakers across the world. It's flexible and future-proof structure, as I also stated that any new development, it can be easily incorporated, and it is being incorporated in the report, in the standards. It's a global common language, and it has developed with multi-stakeholder contribution, and it's rooted in the public interest, not focused on any specific stakeholder group. Summary, we just saw these standards in as an overview, that these are something which are coming up globally or in the process, which have launched already and will be the mandate will start for most of them from 2024 and onwards, and they also have the roadmap stage-wise manner. Some of them are going to be opened and mandated for the companies across the regions. A bit also on the GRS standards, because we ended the earlier section. That is why there was this summary. But I'm continuing on the GRI part again. I mentioned oil and gas, coal, agriculture sector standards are already there. The group 1, if you see here, which is this is basic material and needs. This group 1 sector standards are going to be launched. They are prioritized first, then the group 2, group 3, and group 4. For all the relevant reasons, this grouping is also, and this prioritization has also been done through stakeholder consultation in terms of which group has more impact. I mean, all of these groups have impact, and they all need to report on. But then there has to be some prioritization that needs to be done by the standards board, and that is why this grouping has been done. And we'll very soon see these group 1 out. Mining is on the way, and it will be launched in first quarter of this year. Also, we see that climate change standards are in the public comments mode. So all of you can, go and check and contribute your feedback on the climate change sector standards, climate change standards, which are going beyond. So we saw, if you're familiar with TCFD has has a focus on disclosure on the governance, the risk, the strategy, and the metrics of climate related financial disclosures. Wherein this climate standards in the GRI standards is going to be beyond the metrics. Of course, there is a disclosure on group GHG 1, 2, and 3, scope 1, 2, and 3. But apart from that, how is this low carbon economy is going to be done in a just manner? How is it not going to impact or create a social injustice? These are some of the disclosures that needs to be addressed in the climate change standards, how the climate change mitigation and adaptation. So a lot of social angle has been included apart from the disclosures on the GHG matrices in these new standards. And the other standards which are in the development are labor, economic impact, and financial service sector standards, which will be taken in later part of this year. And then we will have the textile sector and pollution sector standard coming up. Yeah, so we have come towards the end of the session, and I'll stop sharing. And handing it over to Aman.
Hello friends, this is Preeti Saula, and screen, I think can stop sharing the screen. Hi. So is anyone there, or shall I?
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you.
Yeah. So hello everyone, and this is C. Preeti Saula, Central Council member and chairperson of Sustainability Reporting Standard Board. And this is a webinar series on the sustainability, and hope you are taking ahead. And good evening, all my dear participants. And thank you, the speakers, the moderators, coordinators, and the office for coordinating this and having this wonderful session. And we were touched with Aditi madam, actually, who is being South Asian countries director, and she has suggested your name, and accordingly we have this session. So day by day we are seeing that importance of the sustainability from all the stakeholders perspective, whether being the regulator, the shareholders, the investors, the employees, and everyone. And that is why the even our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji in his Glasgow conference has announced that the sustainability and the India to be the carbon neutral by 2070, and accordingly the Panchamrut also to be undertaken by 2030. And accordingly a lot of regulatory requirements have also come, and SEBI has come out with this BRSR, that is business responsibility and the sustainability reporting, and which is mandatory for top 1000 listed company from 1/4/2022, and report assurance is also being mandatory from 1/4/23 for top 150 companies. There are various global reportings available like GRI or TCFD and so on. So the importance is being given, and day by day, being the value chain also becoming mandatory, a lot of importance will be coming over here on this reporting, and the awareness is being created, and it is our role to create the awareness, as we are actually doing a lot of training courses, certificate courses on BRSR. At present also one certificate course series is going on, that is certificate course on BRSR. We are also done back testing of BRSR for SEBI, and we are also bringing out the publication very soon on audit methodology of BRSR. We have also mapped the S1 S2 reporting requirement with BRSR, and it is friends our role to bridge the gap between the regulatory requirements and our talent of the members. And accordingly all these exercises we are doing. We have also come out with sustainability reporting maturity model, and recently version 2 also has been released. All these things are available on the website of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, where we have this sustainability reporting standard board. Under that you will find everything. So friends, stay with us, stay in touch, and visit the website, and also see our messages and mails, so to be in connect with the sustainability reporting requirements and all the things. Any support required to you in this area of sustainability and ESG will be provided to you. And Rangoli, I also request you, if it is ready, you can please share the video, 1 minute video which we have prepared as a Har Ghar sustainability. So that will be helpful, and also share that link of that video in the chat box, so everyone can download that video and show to their office, to their home, to their society, and everywhere. And we want Har Ghar sustainability, that is our institute agenda, in line with our national agenda, as we are partner in nation building. So I thank all the participants, my speaker, my coordinators, and the office for having this wonderful session. Over to Punit Bhai.
Puneet sir, you are not audible.
Yeah, 1 second. Yeah, am I audible now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Preeti ma'am. It was indeed insightful for you to
Rangoli, you
share
can keep this
all the
video
initiative.
ready, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, please go on.
Yeah, to share all the initiatives on the institute level as to how we can take more advantage of the institute's actions that has been happening in this particular space. And definitely we would be running out the SRSB video right now, Har Ghar Sustainability, in some time, just in few moments. And thank you very much. I think we can take a few of the questions that is there. Aman?
Yeah, we can take
Yes,
some
sir.
questions. And one more thing also I would like to share with all of you, that our sustainability board is pioneer in the world. And recently we have also received that Best Sustainability Reporting Board Award at Institute by UNCTAD ISAR, where 70 countries were participating for the best award, best board of sustainability board award. And our we have received as our sustainability board of ICAI. So this is a happy moment, and we are the pioneer and the first one among the country, among the world, to have established this sustainability board. Further, recently, we have also concluded our best sustainability report awards also, and it went very well. Uh, uh, this was the third series of the award, and every year we are coming out with this award series.
Yeah, ma'am, that's indeed heartening. That's indeed heartening that the world is recognizing that India is doing something really nice, and especially ICI is doing something really nice on the sustainability front. And let's take our leadership position to the next level, and we keep engaging and organizing such programs for our members on a continuous basis. So that is indeed our motto and a requirement of the day. And today, Ms. Pallavi has explained the concept and the importance of the GRI, especially the GRI standards and the applicability and the new developments across the globes, which is happening. So she is indeed taken up very nicely. Would request Aman to take up few of the questions for Ms. Pallavi. And Ms. Pallavi, do we have some thing added from your side left out?
Yes, so we can continue with the questions.
Yep.
Thank you, Preeti. And as we all know, the SRSB has been doing a great work. Also, Pallavi ma'am, for a question. I personally learned a lot through your presentation. I'm sure all the attendees have too. Keeping time in mind, we will make sure that we'll stick to the relevant questions. And I think Punitji and I can alternatively go over all the questions that have been asked. So, ma'am, the first question I have for you is that in what ways does sustainability reporting influence corporate behavior and decision making?
Yeah. Uh, that's a very relevant question, and I'm happy that I'm receiving it. So, we looked at some of the values of reporting, right? I shared one of the slide. So, whichever framework it is, whichever standard it is, right? If you look at the values that we are trying to derive from the, and that's a business value, okay? Yeah, we are not talking about anything responsibility and CSR or something of that sort. But the values that we are trying, of course, they're important with due respect to all. Values that we are trying to derive from the sustainability reporting process. If you see, they are multifunctional, right? So all the functions within your company has to come together, right? And have to have a very common strategic approach towards actual action on ESG, right? So when you start on the reporting front, because it's when you are disclosing publicly, it's a serious matter, right? You need to have goals, you need to have a very strategic approach towards it, and also have the the final performance also to need to be out. And when you are doing this, you definitely want to have a very credible data out. So I have seen many companies who were not recording the data, but because it's for the public disclosure, they start doing this regularly and then step up to next by also having a digital way of data management within their organizations. So there's so many different aspects for which the organization comes together with a shared vision on the ESG, and that's where the behavioral change happens. So it's like a guiding compass for the companies. The reporting becomes a guiding compass for the companies to make that actual behavioral change. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Thank you, ma'am. So the next question is, I think you've taken in this presentation how would you differentiate between GRI and ISSB standards?
Okay. All right. So the basic difference is, as I mentioned, the ISSB is sustainability related financial disclosure, and wherein GRI takes a impact reporting approach, which is more on identifying your own material topics which are impacting the entire stakeholder, not just your financial implications. Right? So that's the difference between these two.
Wow. So
Yeah.
now
So
I
in
think
Singapore, just I would like to update.
just one second.
Oh yeah, there is a video coming up.
Yeah, please, ma'am.
I'll hold on. Yeah.
So can we hold on the video for a minute? Yeah, ma'am, please continue. In Singapore, you are right. Ma'am, you please continue.
Yeah, I just wanted to share one update that in Singapore, IFRS and GRI has launched its sustainability innovation lab. Okay, so all these queries, since it's an emerging concept of double materiality, all these queries, how these are going to happen practically, and how there could be more guidance for the companies to come up with both, like double materiality. For that, the lab is already launched in Singapore, and there will be more guidance that will come up by both IFRS and GRI in near future.
Yeah, fantastic, ma'am. Thank you very much. Would request the organizers to just play the video for Har Ghar Sustainability. It's a small 1-minute video. Please play.
ICAI Sustainability Awareness Drive. Har Ghar Sustainability. Take care of ecosystem. Save electricity. Unplug appliances when they are not in use. Take advantage of sunlight. Use solar panels. Use energy efficient lights. Install power strips to save electricity. Use water efficiently. Turn off the tap when not in use. Control water leakages. Rainwater harvesting. Use waste RO water for mopping. Sustainable environment. Reduce, reuse and recycle. No plastic usage. Save paper. Grow more trees for sustainable future. Let every household be sustainable. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you, team, ICI team, and would request Aloy ma'am to please continue to share your screen. And there are a few more questions which are left out.
So, Palori ma'am, we actually had a follow-up question to that. Is ma'am there? We cannot see her on camera.
Yeah, she's there.
Yeah, there.
Yeah. So, ma'am, the question was, why are there so many reporting standards now? And why can't there just be one standard that will be better for comparability also for companies around the globe?
Yeah. Yes, we all want this ideal world to be there, and I'm hopeful one day there will be. One standard for everyone. But currently, what we see is all these global standards are emerging to meet very specific requirements. So, one is focusing on the climate related disclosures, the other one is now stepping up to sustainability related disclosures. And it has also been a very challenging space to actually bring out one common disclosure, meeting all the requirements of all the stakeholders. Yeah, so for meeting the stakeholder needs, perhaps, there are so many framework that we currently see, framework standards or instruments that we see. Yeah, the needs of the stakeholder and the regional needs as well.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And I really wanted to thank you, ICAI and also Savla ma'am. I think she just logged off. Maybe I'll write to her. But yeah, it has been her great leadership, and we have we have participated in some of the ICAI events, and the way she's here. Okay. Yeah. So Savla ma'am, thank you so much for having GRI in various, forum and having us here for the session. And thank you for your leadership, because of you, we are able to reach out to accountants, which is a backbone of the country. So great initiative by ICAI and wonderful work. And the video has also come up very nice, simple to understand and relatable. So thank you for
Thank
that.
you. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation and stayed. And I thank all the members also of this. Much everyone. I can see Aman here, Rangoli here, Punit bhai here. So, speaker phone. Pallavi madam. So thank you Pallavi ji for being here and stay connected everyone. We'll be coming soon with the next episode and see that create an awareness. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Mr. Mehta, and thank you, team. Thank you,
Pleasure,
Aman.
ma'am. It was pleasure
Yeah.
listening to you. It was indeed a
Certainly.
pleasure.
I have shared my contact details with the team.
Yes.
Please share it on the chat box and you can reach out to us on the email. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Pallavi, ma'am. Yep.
Thank you. Have a great evening, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Yes.